Hello, everyone. Welcome to the SLO City Together Podcast, Wednesday morning for us, whenever it is that you're listening. You don't have to listen to this on Wednesday. Anyway, today, I'm joined by Heather Minnoch.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Thanks for being brave and joining the podcast today. I've decided that I'm calling this the staff summer series.
And you're kicking it off with me.
Kicking it off with you.
Wow. It's a low bar.
Can only go up from here, you know.
Exactly.
That's the way I'm seeing it. I'm totally kidding. I'm excited. We've been on staff for the exact same amount of time.
Yep. We started the exact same day.
Yeah. Do you remember the date?
December 6th.
That's right. 2021.
Yep.
So just over 2.5 years. And you've never been on the podcast.
No.
Yeah.
Never. Not once.
Have you ever been on a podcast?
No, but I listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask what are some of your go-to podcasts?
Well, so I do like true crime podcasts.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
I enjoy those, which is, I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
You know, it's a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a trendy thing. I also enjoy like This American Life. I like Throughline.
Okay.
And I like cooking podcasts when I can find them.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know cooking podcasts were a thing. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. There's oh my gosh, I just blanked on her name. But there's a gal who does interviews with like all of the LA farmers markets and the chefs and brings in, talks about what's fresh and all of that and weird ingredients. I like that.
Okay. So it's more just sort of like you get an idea of other ingredients and foods that you could be using and experimenting with?
Yeah, kind of. Sometimes it's recipes.
Okay.
Sometimes it's recipes. Sometimes it's sometimes it's just like chefs and talking more about chefs and what they're doing and all of that. So, and a lot of it is just like what's at the farmer's market or like a family-owned business or something like that. It's kind of cool.
I didn't know there would be like recipes in podcast form. I'd never heard of this.
Yeah, and there's a British one. I think it's called The Kitchen Counter. If that's the one, because there's a couple that I listen to. Yeah. That they're all British and they're kind of comedians and they go to different little villages. I don't know if that's what you call them in England. And they talk about their local, like, I don't know, sheepskin stew. I don't know what it is.
I love sheepskin stew. I believe they're called shires, right?
Yeah, they're probably called shires.
Sure, shires.
Sure, they're shires.
We're Chestershire. That's a thing.
Yeah.
I've had a bit of a new food discovery that I've really been enjoying, and it's something I never thought I would enjoy. I've been eating sardines.
I love sardines.
Do you really?
Yes. Eating sardines on saltines.
On saltines, okay. I usually just have it on like a piece of toast.
Yeah, or toast.
Yeah.
Yeah. My son eats sardines probably every week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's the stereotype of sardines, at least when you're growing up, is they're like just the gross thing that no one wants to eat.
Yeah.
Just like canned fish, which it is canned fish.
Yeah.
And then I tried it. I've heard it's like very sustainable, like very sustainably sourced. Yep. And it's nutritious and
really good for you.
Yeah.
So my mother was Norwegian and my grandparents were from Norway, and that was kind of their thing. Like every time I'd go visit my grandparents, when my grandfather would come in from the farm, he'd pull out the tin of sardines and the saltines, and then also pickled herring.
Pickled herring, okay.
And, but I don't buy pickled herring really, but I don't dislike it.
Can you buy pickled herring?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, probably like at World Market.
Okay.
I think.
Interesting.
Online.
Yeah, for sure. Interesting. Yeah, there's the canned / pickled fish. They probably talk about that on your podcasts.
Yes. And yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's good. Well, it's just Heather and I today. Not just. We are few, but we are mighty. In part, so Brent has started his vacation. This is the first week without him. And then Jordan is visiting family in Kentucky this week as well. So all that to say, we are sheep without a shepherd today, this week.
The cats are away and the mice are going to play.
Are out to play.
Yeah.
There you go. So excited to be kicking off the staff summer series, not the summer staff series, because that to me indicates that it's summer staff, and we are here for more than the summer. But yeah, it's been a little quiet around the office.
It's been
so far.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would say it has definitely come down a notch.
Yeah. So we've just been playing shuffleboard, and we played shuffleboard.
And you guys beat us. Us as in I played with Hannah. Mm-hmm. She was on my team.
Yeah.
And you and Isaiah beat Hannah and I.
I don't mean to brag, but when it comes to, plastic table shuffleboard with kids' toys, I'm pretty good.
Hey, I think it was a pretty good replica of a shuffleboard.
It was. That was fun. Yeah. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that game.
Do you ever play bocce ball?
Yes. I don't think I've ever, well, not ever, but I've played more bocce just like backyard or something than like in an actual sand pit.
Oh. So I know I keep saying this, but when we have you over for dinner, we'll go down. We have a bocce set, and there's a bocce court just one block down from us, and so we'll just go.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. I love that.
It's fun.
We would. I have a friend back in Kentucky. Me and him and my brother would hang out, and we'd play like in his backyard. And he has kids, so they had like a play set. So we'd like get fancy with throwing it in the play set or around it or utilizing the slide or something. So that's the bocce that I'm familiar with.
Okay.
So less refined, but just as fun. So awesome. Well, like I said, excited that you are here today and kicking off the summer. It feels like summer with a little bit slower pace and some people in and out. And I know we're all kind of in and out and gone parts of the summer and here parts of the summer, and lots to look forward to.
I'm here all summer.
You're here. You'll be here all summer.
Yeah.
Going
nowhere.
Okay. Well, that's all good. Then you can host the podcast every week from now on. No, but I wanted to have you on, and we've been doing on social media these like staff highlights, and I essentially want to do a little bit more of an extended version of that and kind of a get to know Heather, because you've been around for a long time. In terms of,
are you calling me old?
No, I mean you've been at church a long time is what I'm saying.
Okay.
At SLO City.
Yeah.
I think it's people always appreciate the listeners of this podcast when we have people on. Like, oh, I get to know this person a little bit more. Here's some more of their story. So why don't you give us a little overview introduction? Who is Heather? Where are you from? What do you do? What do you like to do for fun?
Okay. All right.
However you want to take that.
Well, that's a big question.
It is.
So, I was an Air Force kid growing up, so I've lived all over the world. And my dad used to be, he was in the Air Force, and he was the director of personnel out at Vandenberg Air Force Base for many years.
Really?
And so that's what brought us to California.
Oh, okay.
And so I got to go to junior high through high school all in one place, which was kind of a rare thing for a military kid.
Yeah.
And so, and that was in Santa Maria. So I went to Righetti High School in Santa Maria, and that's where Mark also went. His dad was a contractor out at the base, and so I met him in high school. He was a grade older than me, and we were in the same youth group growing up.
Wow.
And the thing that we always say is that we only went on one date in high school, but not with each other. It was a double date, and I was with somebody else and he was with somebody else.
That's
and we double dated. So
wow,
that was kind of fun.
That was in high school?
That was in high school. Yeah, I was at a sweetheart dance or something.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
when did you guys start dating? When was your all's first date?
Probably about almost 10 years after high school.
Really?
Yes, I'm not going to go into that story, but I just taught the Lord just stopped me from speaking. My mom gave Mark my phone number at a wedding. And so I had just moved up to the Bay Area, and he was up in the Bay Area, and she was like, she just moved up there and doesn't know anybody. And then later on, when I talked to my mom and she told me that, I was like, what? I cannot believe you told him that I knew nobody. I've made me sound like a loser.
Right.
But I really didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
I worked in a 2-person office, and so
really,
and so so it was me and my boss, and that's the only person I knew in the Bay Area.
What job was that?
So I have my master's degree in geography. So I went to UC Santa Barbara, got my geography degree. Eventually, made my way down to Southern California, worked for a big mapping software company called ESRI. I worked for them for a few years, and then went and got my master's degree in San Diego. And then I worked for a remotely satellite data, remotely sensed data software company up in the Bay Area. And that's what I did. Worked with GIS, Geographic Information Systems, satellite data.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun.
So going back to Mark a little bit, because I had this question. Did you know, so like Mark called you essentially?
Yes.
Okay, and that's how you guys reconnected.
That's how we reconnected, and I think we talked for a couple of hours that first day.
Yeah.
But I traveled a lot with my schedule. I probably traveled 2 to 3 days a week, every week in the month, and he traveled a little bit, and so when we weren't able to arrange our first date for like 4 or 5 weeks because our schedules just didn't line up. It just did not line up.
Gotcha.
But in the meantime, I had met my college roommate was up in San Francisco, and so I went up. She and I met for dinner one night or something, and I told her, I just have this feeling that we're going to get married. And she was so mad at me. She's like, I can't believe you're saying that. Like, you cannot think that way. I'm like, I can't tell. It's just, and not that we believe in this because it's fortunes, but Mark and I first date, we went to Chinese food.
Okay.
And at the end, you get the fortune cookie. Yeah. And I looked at my fortune and I went, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And he goes, tell me what it says. And I said, do not return to the past for future relationships. And he goes, oh my gosh. He goes, my fortune says the same thing.
Did it really?
It really did. We both had the exact same fortune. And I said, it's a good thing we don't believe in that.
Yeah. The exact opposite was in fact true.
Correct.
You went back to high school and found your forever partner.
Yeah, I did.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was really fun.
That's awesome. Oh man, I had another question with that. Oh, so that conversation with your mom, like when did you find out that she gave Mark your phone number? Was that before he called or?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So my mom saw Mark at a wedding. Yeah. And so that's how, and so then I called to find out how the wedding went because I was on a business trip and so I didn't go.
Gotcha.
And so so I just called to find out how it all went.
And that's when she
told me.
You.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And I was living in Gilroy at the time, and Mark was up in Mountain View.
Gotcha.
And so that's like a 40-minute distance.
Yeah.
But then the company I worked for moved up to somewhere near Sunnyvale, and
cool.
And so that's where
less garlic.
Yeah. Less garlic.
Yeah.
I loved garlic.
Yeah. Did you like that aspect?
Oh yeah. His the office was a little West Coast office. Our company was based in Atlanta, and it was a little West Coast branch, and so he had this office built above his garage, and he had like this little mansion on 8 acres.
Yeah.
But to get there, you had to drive through the garlic fields to get to the office. So at home, in the summertime, coming home, I would basically come home, get to my apartment, toss a pan on the stove with some garlic and olive oil and go, okay, what else am I having for dinner? Because it had to have garlic.
You always had that.
Always had garlic, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Very cool. Okay, so you were telling us about your job with, I forget how you described it, but like inputting geographical mapping. And it reminded me, you once told me you had something to do with the mapping of like Hawaii, right?
Oh yeah.
What was that? I don't remember what it is.
I was a project manager on, oh gosh, you're going to make me stretch my brain.
Here we go. We're going back.
So the city of Honolulu in Hawaii, when basically the software company I worked for is sort of like the precursor to like Google Maps, right?
Okay.
Like it's all of that data came from
MapQuest.
MapQuest came from somewhere. No, from ESRI, and And so I was a project manager for the city of Honolulu's street, like inputting all of their streets and manhole covers and all that stuff. And so if you get lost in Hawaii, I mean, I assume it's been updated since I did this a million years ago.
Sure.
But in the beginning, it could have been because of me.
Yeah.
So if I made an error.
If someone got lost in Hawaii or in Honolulu, then it could be Heather Minnoch's fault.
Yep. All my fault.
But if they successfully navigated around
I'll
the city,
take all the credit.
Then you also get that credit as well.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah. So then Mark and I have been married for almost, I think this summer is 29 years.
Wow.
And we have 2 kids. Mm-hmm. And Drew, he's our older son, and he's going to be 27 this summer.
Okay.
And Dana is going to be 25.
Awesome.
And they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Drew lives here in town, and Dana lives in Southern California.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. One thing that I know about you and Mark is that you guys are big concert goers.
Yes.
Yes. How often would you say you guys go see a live show?
I would say 1 to 2 or more times a month.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's a lot of fun.
What was like a memorable or favorite concert experience if you had to choose one?
Let's see. Well, we went and saw, a friend of ours gave us tickets to go see David Byrne, who used to be the lead singer for Talking Heads.
Okay.
Down in the Santa Barbara Bowl, which, it was like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I didn't like or not like the music.
Yeah.
And so
neutral.
Very neutral.
Yeah.
We went down there, and it was probably one of the best concerts I've ever seen in my entire life. It was fabulous.
What made it good?
So he had a huge band, and there was not one single instrument that sat on the ground. Okay. Everybody moved the entire time, kind of like thinking like a marching band. Okay. But it was all choreographed with the music, and it was really spectacular. They did it might be on Apple TV, I don't know, or Netflix, but there's a video documentary series that something on David Byrne and that particular concert. It was very, very cool. Yeah. Yes, that was a good one. We've been to, Audio Adrenaline was probably one of our very favorite 90s Christian rock bands.
Yeah.
We went to Audio Adrenaline, Newsboys, Switchfoot, a lot of those concerts in the 90s. That's very quintessential 90s.
I love it.
Christian music. I'm not really familiar with a ton of Christian music now, which is I kind of feel bad about that. I work in a church and I'm a Christian and I don't really know.
You don't have to feel bad about that.
But praise music. But other than that, I don't really follow a lot of Christian bands.
Yeah. I could give you some recommendations.
Okay. I would like that.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'll make a playlist, a mixtape.
Ooh. Awesome. Yeah, to speak my language.
Yeah, mixtape. Yeah. So speaking of faith, so what role did faith play in your life, like growing up? Was your family church going, believing family? Give us a little bit of insight of your faith journey.
Okay. Well, my mom's side of the family, they were Lutheran. Okay. And so, and my dad's side of the family were not churchgoers. Okay. That I know. My dad is second youngest of 10 kids. So they were all, my dad left the Boston. He was just from a little town right outside of Boston. Okay. And he left that Boston basically when he was 17. Wow. So I have 60 something cousins and I know 2 of them. I don't know that side of the family. Yeah. I don't know if any of them are churchgoers, but my dad was not a churchgoer. He was very, he used to almost make fun of it, sort of. Yeah. And so my mom, growing up, my mom wanted my brother and I have one brother. His name is Heath. I'm Heather. He's Heath.
Nice.
And
share the first.
I'm the oldest.
4 letters of your name.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go.
And
no, 5. Right? Heath. Heather's just Heath with ER.
Yes. 5 letters. I had to count on my fingers.
Yeah.
So so my brother and I were both confirmed as a Lutheran. So that means you kind of go through like a little, it's almost like a catechism little class.
Okay. Yeah.
So we didn't really go to church much. And then maybe a couple times during my lifetime, growing up. Was confirmed though. And then in high school, a friend of mine invited me to a youth group, and we actually came to a concert in San Luis Obispo.
Nice.
At Grace Church. I think it was at Grace Church, and it was Benny Hester was the band.
Benny Hester.
I can't even tell you like what it was. Just sort of like very 80s. That's the 80s Christian. So
nice.
Very literal.
I'm picturing
Christian
Michael
music.
W. Smith is what
yes,
I'm
Michael, the height of Michael W. Smith.
There you go.
And
what a time.
So Benny Hester was at Grace Church, and we took a bus up to this concert, and that's where I made a decision to follow Jesus.
Wow, at this concert.
At this concert. And Mark was at that concert too. Yeah. Because he was in our youth group.
Yeah.
I was a junior, he was a senior.
Wow.
So that's
cool.
kind of fun.
Yeah.
So then I was a part of the youth group, and all through high school from like 10th grade on. In college, I walked away for about 8 years, just because in college you question your faith and you question, is that really the only answer? And I sort of I did a lot of questioning. Yeah. And so
you're exposed to so many different walks of life and worldviews, probably more so than
totally
your teenage years. So
absolutely. And it's hard. It's a great time of your life, and it's also a very hard time of your life. So so then when I was probably honestly about a month before my mom gave Mark my phone number.
A month before.
So like this 10 years later, right? Because I had walked away for almost like 9 years. And I had just moved up to the Bay Area, didn't know anybody. And I thought, my life, I need something. And like, when was I happy? When did I have joy? Yeah. Real joy. Yeah. And it was like, it was when I was going to church. And so I started that journey of looking for a church. And then when Mark and I started dating, I just went up to his church and went there. Yeah. And it was a First Baptist church of some kind at Sunnyvale. Yeah. And it's called something else now. Okay. And Cross Point, I think, is what it's called. Cool. And then got involved. I was baptized. And because I had been baptized, like as an infant in the Lutheran church, right? Or, water sprinkled or something. Yeah. And so I had never been baptized, so I got baptized. Wow. And then Mark and I worked with junior high kids for a long time up there.
Very cool.
And Mark still works with kids.
He still does. And he's amazing.
Yeah, he's
awesome.
He is amazing.
Yeah, he is. We should have him on sometime. But walk me through, what was that decision like to get baptized as an adult, to re-enter faith after a period of absence of faith? Was it like something just kind of clicked, or what kind of led you to that point? To kind of like reaffirm faith, essentially. To
reaffirm faith. Well, I think it was because I was just, in this, that's very difficult. Yeah. When I was in my early 20s and kind of going through my professional career and all of that, it was just a lot of emptiness. There was nothing, they're fun. Yeah. But it wasn't, there was something missing. Yeah. And so that when I had decided, when I came back, when I kind of pinpointed and really thought about, I think I prayed on and off during that time period, sort of like, well, maybe you're there, but I for sure was not walking with the Lord. Then when I kind of made that decision, I was like, it sort of clicked. Yeah. Something spoke to me inside, and I was like, this is what you need to do. And so the first church, I just sort of, back in the day, you have to use this book. It was called The Yellow Pages.
Okay.
And no, I don't mean to talk that. So I didn't have any clue. Well, where do you find a church? I pulled up The Yellow Pages, and I think
I had one of those in front of my apartment one time. I think they left one there for me.
Left one just in case. You're like, what's this?
This is heavy. I'm trying to rip this in half.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, so I went to one, and I walked into this church, and it was an itty bitty thing, and everyone, I think the average age was my age now and older.
Okay.
And so, I walked in, and I was like, okay, this is definitely not the one for me, but I was happy to have been there. I, sat through that, chatted with some lovely people.
Yeah, for sure.
And just sort of plugged away. And then, a few weeks later, it was really kind of interesting. My old roommate from down in Southern California, she was flying through, and this was back in the day when you used to be able to. She had a short gate exchange, and so she was going to be at, I think it's San Jose Airport, and so you can walk through all the way to the gate, even though you weren't flying anywhere.
Right.
And she and I had lunch at the airport because I wasn't going to be able to see her any other time. She didn't have enough time to come see me. And so we were chatting, and she's like, there is something different about you. Like, what is it? And I'm like, well, her name was Monica. I'm like, Monica, I said, I don't know if you know this, but I used to go to church. I used to, that was big part of my life. Yeah. And then for all those years I didn't. And I decided that was missing, and something I needed to return to Jesus, and have, she was like, wow, she just was somehow noticeably different with me, which is kind of cool.
It is cool.
I didn't see it, but she saw it right away.
Yeah.
So, and she was, she was happy for me.
Wow.
So that was fun.
That is cool. Yeah. I love that aspect of faith of, I think, when it is like truly rooted in your heart, I think, we talked about fruit of the Spirit the past several weeks. Like, I think that's a practical example of what that looks like, where it's like, oh, there's just a goodness about this person or something, that just displays something different and something good growing inside of them and doing work inside of them. Which
having
is
that,
really cool.
that joy, that's
joy.
In different, it's not a happiness, it's really kind of that joy. And I think that's what she saw.
Wow.
So I'd like to think that anyway.
Yeah, for sure. Flash forward to today. Like, what about life with Jesus? What keeps you going in that relationship and in faith?
Well, definitely spending time in the Word is helpful. Yeah. There's a couple of things, like I'm a huge fan of the Lectio 365.
Oh yeah. The app.
I listen to that frequently.
Yeah.
I also do this. I get sucked into things on my Instagram feed.
We all do.
So there is something called the James Method, and it was this notebook, and you basically pick a verse, and it walks you through to really kind of break down that verse, and then you look at it in 3 different translations, and then it takes you through all these different steps of how you just look at this one verse, and you poke around at it, and just and draw things, find out what's God. What does this say to me? What is God trying to tell me? Kind of a thing.
Yeah, just have some prompts to think about.
Yeah. So I like to do that too.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah. So.
Well, thanks for sharing some of your stories, some of who you are. And I learned some things. Hopefully the listener learned some things as well. And Heather, you are awesome. You're awesome. Thank you. But you mentioned joy, and I think that is true. You are the joyful presence in the office, not the only one, but a consistent joyful presence. Yeah. Everyone else is just, no, I'm kidding. But you are so consistent in your joy and your kindness to others. I was going to ask as well, I think I mentioned it in the little email I sent you, but you're currently doing some really cool work with some of the houseless community, and some initiatives happening within the city. Can you talk about that a little bit, like what that looks like and what your involvement has been?
Yeah. So, this has been fun. Every month I go down to a meeting at the city that the city puts on with the different faith community members, and it's called the Faith Stakeholder Meeting. Okay. And we basically get an update of the status of what all of the different partners who are working with houseless people. With the status, if there are any needs, and so that's kind of how I started getting involved in that. So we did that welcome home, did the welcome home kits for Cap SLO. Awesome. That was really wonderful.
Yeah, that was so cool.
And then so they work really hard to basically help people get through this process so that they can become housed and kind of get back to society somehow. And it's just an all around really difficult situation.
For sure.
But what I'm learning is that there are so many different partners out there that really care. So there's different ways to get involved. We don't have anything yet. Concrete.
Kind of some things in the works.
There's some things in the works, but there are some great partnership opportunities with Shower the People. And those are people. There's basically these shower,
like those mobile showers, trailers or whatever.
And they move around and help people, get there, and that might be the only shower that they get if they're on the streets versus being at the shelter. At the shelter, there's showers there, but. There's that. There's working at volunteering at 40 Prado, serving food, and they always need volunteers and help there.
Yeah, especially during inclement weather. I see a bunch of updates or notifications, requests for volunteers at the warming shelter.
Yeah, exactly. There. But they serve meals every single day year round. Yeah. So they definitely
3 meals a day, right?
That would be a great thing for like a small group to get together and do it once a month.
Yeah, have some sort of consistency serving there. Yep. Yeah.
So there's those things. Shower with People, Cap SLO. We do help with the Big Brothers Big Sisters Christmas Hope for One, which it blows my mind, the generosity
so cool
of everyone at SLO City Church.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah. Well, keep us posted, which I know you will, on other future ways to be involved with that.
Well, I am making a list because Tatum Miller, who's going to be our new community pastor, I have got a spreadsheet in the works that I'm going to be sharing with him the second I'm allowed to share it with him.
He loves spreadsheets. He told me that. He's like, I just live for spreadsheets. So as most of us do.
As most of us do, yeah. So I'm gonna send that off for him so that he's got a list of like different agencies that he can just dive right in, and then hopefully help the rest of our community sign up for and do something.
Yeah, because I know people within our church are eager about, hey, what are some ways to be involved in the community? Like we have such a faithful group of volunteers who serve internally, and so many people who are externally involved in the city as well. But I think people are always asking those questions of how can I do more? How can I? We do so many awesome events like Hope for One and the Meal Pack, and people are hungry for more of that. And so I'm grateful you're stepping into that personally, and also helping provide some future avenues for our church to step into that as well.
The Meal Pack event's gonna be coming up in August.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do like another 50,000 meals, which I can't wait.
That'll be incredible. Yeah, we've got some fun things coming up. This week is Father's Day, Sunday, so be sure to get your dad a gift. New service times. Yep, summer service times, 9:15 and 10:45 only. So we are cutting our services by 50%, but there'll still be room and time for you to join. It's Father's Day. We are also having popsicles for the second week. They will not be on the back patio. We're moving it to essentially the front parking lot area. So where we used to meet for church, that parking lot, the main entrance that you come in on Sundays, just because it's a little more accessible for you to grab a popsicle with your family, with your graduate, with your father, whoever it is. So be sure to make it for that. We're also doing a blues game next.
The 21st.
Friday, right?
Friday, 6 to
8:30 or something. Yeah. So blues game there. Come hang out with us, which will be fun. So yeah, I think, and then camps are coming up. So many things coming up later in the summer. So keep posted.
Together nights.
We'll keep you posted. Together nights in July. Meal Pack, worship night in August as well. So it will be a lot of chances to connect, to grow together, to worship, and enjoy a fun summer together. So, Heather, thank you for joining us. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you. I had a blast.
Well, good. I'm glad. And we will talk with you soon. Kristen O'Block is going to join us next week. So, continuing with the staff summer series. I always say the summer staff series. It's the staff.
Gotta get it right.
Summer
staff
series.
Summer series.
Boom. With Heather Minnoch. Heather, thanks for joining.
Thank you.
We'll see you.
Bye.